And I love how Eugenie's just, oh God, she's so annoying to work with. You look ridiculous. And with these, I don't know what you call it. Immediately when I'm looking at her hair, Eugenie's doing her hair. Thinking of Birds of Paradise. Remember when she said that on the hilltop scene? So this is funny. Right out the gates.
Would please me more than to introduce you to Lady Stuart de Rothsay and Vere and any number of others, but this isn't the time.
When we first met, well, when we became reacquainted, you said you promised me that you would introduce me to people.
Yes, and I did. The Norcliffes.
No, proper people. London society.
Have anxieties about the division of the estate.
Oh, what's that got to do with anything?
And Anne Walker's demeanor. Hold on a minute. I'm also noticing something else. This is the same room from season 1, episode 7. This is the same. It is the same room. The bookshelves, the color on the walls, is that burgundy? Is that red? What color is that? This is the same room that Anne and Mariana were in season 1, episode 7. And Mariana and Anne back then was going about to events without Mariana. Mariana was upset that she wasn't spending time with Anne, that she wasn't going with Anne to these events. You know, Anne Lister is a little bit selfish, and she's a little bit head in the clouds, unaware. She's unaware because she's so excited to do all these things, but she doesn't think to incorporate her partner. So Anne is having dinner with her high society friends without Anne by her side. I don't know why she couldn't do that, but you know, oh, puffy shoulders, puffy sleeves. So let's just get to the Vere part of it. Okay, Vere. So as we all remember, Vere, and she had a baby, and she named her baby girl after Anne. And I mean, there's so many Annes. Anne is like a popular name, apparently. She had these feelings for Anne, didn't know how to explain it. She went and married a man. She broke Anne's heart. That is who Vere is. So I don't know, would we call her, you know, if she had the confidence to be herself today, would we call her bi? Would we call her lesbian? I don't know. But Vere is one of those people that not ready to accept themselves.
How lucky to find a travelling companion as intrepid as you are.
It's unfortunate. And hear me, Vere is complaining about her issues with her husband to Anne, and it's just like, I mean, you know, queer women / lesbians in this era married to men, and they just like they couldn't fathom. Some of them just had no choice, like Mariana. Some of them couldn't fathom being with another woman and living their lives with another woman. This is Vere. And so they're just stuck in these marriages to men, and it's just like, ugh. And then you have Anne Lister on the other side, who is basically living a free life. Like I said in my Gentleman Jack episode 1 to 2 reaction, it's a YouTube short. But Anne basically has a freedom that these women don't have. She knew she was gay. She knew she was gay. She accepted it, and it didn't interfere with her faith. So and she lived her life. She hooked up. She had a very healthy sexual relationship with a lot of women in this time. And in season 1, episode 1, where Mariana said, "You should just marry a man," and she's like, "Are you kidding? Do you know me? Have you met me? I'm not gonna do that. That goes against everything I believe." I'm like, oh, it's absurd. And you see me trying to do the British accent. It's absurd. And so Anne is in every way she had a healthy mindset of her sexuality, and on top of that, she was able to also live out that life. And I aspire to want to do that more in my life. And there are certain restrictions, even in 2022, there are certain restrictions that are put on me based on my society. I live in Jamaica. There's certain things you can't do that other people can do in more open-minded countries. So yeah, it's just interesting. You know, Vere is complaining about her life, and it just...
This is all I do now, Anne. Donald does the business, and I drop babies.
And I'm reading more about Vere, and I'm realizing this is a woman that didn't accept herself. Like, different with Mariana, and I'm going on a tangent, but I want to wrap this up real quick. Mariana was in love with Anne, Because when you read a lot, I'm reading a lot of diary entries from before 1830, and Mariana was in love with Anne. Like, Vere over here is a little bit different, where Vere is not ready to accept her queerness, not ready to accept her same-sex attraction. Anne kisses her on the forehead. I read a passage. Anne kisses Vere on the forehead, and Vere don't know what to do with herself, and she just panics, gay panic. Vere has a gay panic moment and just retreats. So it's just the different levels of women in this society. Just freedom is a hell of a thing. Okay, so we have the Anns in the carriage. Anne Walker is not with this. And Walker is not with this. Based on the promo that I saw, Anne is gonna tell Anne off.
The London trip was primarily for you to find a schoolmaster, to see the dentist, just to get away.
No, it wasn't. It was for you to see your friends. You should have taken me to meet your friends.
Introduce your wife to your friends. It's the most basic thing you could do.
I am your wife when it's convenient, when you need money, in bed. But when it comes to your aristocratic people, I'm an inconvenience.
I just love how Anne Walker is like, she's upset. Bed and wife are muted when she talks. And I'm like, you're already having a loud argument anyways. So you might as well just say wife and bed. But yeah, I appreciate Anne Walker, like, really laying down the law.
And then there's Mrs. Lawton.
Mrs. Lawton?
I know there was more to it. That night when you came back from Lawton Hall.
And then there's Mrs. Lawton. Of course she knows. Yes.
The damage is done. I've seen you in your true colours.
I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors.
About.
The amount of money you're spending these days terrifies me.
You're the one person who's shown any faith in my Northcote scheme.
Yes, and I hope it succeeds, but what if it doesn't? I'm frightened that you'll ruin yourself, and then me.
How could I ruin you? I'm borrowing all of the big money elsewhere.
Yes, but who are you counting on to bail you out if you can't maintain your repayment?
I don't know, because we had it earlier in an early episode. Her accountant? I'm just gonna call him her accountant, Anne's accountant. Like, worried about how much money she's borrowing, but then again, people put a lot on Anne as like, oh, you sure? Should you do this? Should you do this? And I'm like, okay, what do entrepreneurs do today? They borrow money to spend, and then they pay it off, and this is what people do, And because Anne is a woman in this time doing all these things and making money moves, it's that Cardi B song, making money moves, right?
I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. And I'm still not convinced that you do is right.
Did Anne Walker just say she's not even convinced that what they do is right? Listen, Anne Walker had me all the way up until the end. I was rooting for you all the way up until you just said that. But if I were to hear my girlfriend say that to me, that is something. Oh, I'm getting a little emotional. Okay, I'm not gonna try to cry right now. That is something that is like a gut punch. That's gut wrenching to hear that.
I think the sooner we part, the better.
You do know that my first and greatest wish has always been for your happiness. And if I can't make you happy, then I only hope that someone else might succeed better.
And that's how she saw things in her relationship. To be married, we share everything. And if we're not going to be together, I don't want to take any money from you. That's how she was. So, anyways, this is a sad scene.
Elizabeth and I are concerned. Now, you are perfectly entitled to request the division of the property.
No. You agreed. You agreed the terms in your last letter. You're here to sign. Any more tiresome discussion about it is over.
Elizabeth and I are concerned that you have been coerced by someone. And if that's the case...
Coerced?
If that is the case, then we have a duty.
I'm 32 years old. I am in excellent health, better than I've been for a long time. I don't need protecting.
I think you look pale.
Here's what annoys me with Captain Sutherland. All that was asked of him, right? This is about Elizabeth and her sister Anne Walker and dividing the estate down the line equally. That is all Anne Walker was asking for. Captain Sutherland, who we realize was running Elizabeth's side and more than likely getting money from Anne Walker's side. That's why he's like running scared, because he's gonna lose that money even though it's not his, it's Anne Walker's. So he's the predator here, okay? He's the what's the phrase he called Anne Lister? Fortune hunter. He's the fortune hunter. And so Captain Sutherland, as we found out from the last episode, which I'm sorry I don't have the reaction because I've had some technical issues with that, with those files. From episode 5 to 7, I had some technical issues. I'm so pissed. Anyways.
I want my half of my father's estate. You've had Elizabeth's half. You'll not keep mine from me. Miss Lister is irrelevant. I might not stay much longer at Shibden Hall. But I do want my moiety of my father's estate.
From Anne, we transition into this flame. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. First of all, I didn't expect. Okay, the transition just kind of threw me a little bit because I know that Mariana was in this episode. I guess I was expecting her to be like at a dinner party or something. That's really what I was expecting. Okay. But this is what happens with I don't know, when her and it always seems to me that Anne Lister always needs a companion. She always needs that female companion. So if she's broken up with one person, she has to because it was in season 1 when she broke up with Anne Walker, when the Annes broke up in season 1, who did she go to? She went to Mariana. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm seeing here. So now the Annes have broken up. And who is she with? Mariana. Okay. Let's see what they have to say. Okay. What's that? Is that a chicken in the background? Hold on a minute. Oh yes. Oh my god, how did I forget this? If I can find a diary entry, there's many diary entries of this, by the way. How did I forget this? So this was a fantasy. Don't tell me that Lydia is only in this episode for this fantasy scene. Because if she is, ha! Really? Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Lydia said, that's all, folks. That's all, folks. She clocked in, she clocked out, and that was it. Next year, BAFTAs 2023, I need to see Gentleman Jack nominated. You have no other excuse. From 2019, we didn't have them in 2020, we didn't have them in 2021. Fine. Next year, 2023, we need to see Gentleman Jack nominated for BAFTAs, Emmys, Critics' Choice Award for their production, for their costume work, for their acting, for the drama show generally, for comedy as well. I put them in the comedy category. They need to sweep the nominations. I'm tired of this. How are they not sweeping? They should be sweeping. Look at the quality of these costumes. All right, let me not. Yeah, the fact that the woodwork, I didn't notice it before. I'm just noticing, but I just found out that if I can put the scenes, the pictures of Gemma on set, and I realized, oh, they actually built out Shibden. Shibden was a set, so they spent the money and just built a set. I mean, if you're shooting over a year period and all of that camera and camera crew and all that going through this historical building, you can't do that for a whole year. So I understand the need to build a set. I just never thought about it, and now that I'm seeing look at how brand new that woodwork looked. It wouldn't have looked that brand new. The woodwork that's between Marianne and Anne it looks brand new, and then it's fascinating. Okay, so Marianne and her sister. Let's see what they're talking about.
I'm not happy. I'm thinking I'd like to move back to Market Wheaton and take Father with me.
So we had a scene where Anne Walker said, I'm not happy. And oh, when she cries, we cry, we all cry. And now Marianne is saying she's not happy. Aww.
Find the management of the household finances too much for me, and no one listens to me, and you don't, and
She's not happy.
I don't feel there's anything much for me here.
I'd miss you. Miss Walker would miss you, and Anne would miss you, and I do listen to you. And if the household finances are a burden, then let me help you with them.
Sad. We love Marianne.
At the time, there was a case in Edinburgh some years ago brought against 2 women, school teachers. We believe, my wife and I, that Miss Lister has debauched Miss Walker.
The case you refer to wasn't against the 2 women. It was against the lady who accused them openly of sexual misconduct. They sued her for attempting to destroy their reputations and the reputation of their school. They won. One of the presiding magistrates said of the accusations the lady made against them, the crime here alleged does not exist.
Mr. Grey. Mr. Grey, you're my favorite person. Schooling Captain Sutherland. Yes.
Even if such a thing were possible between 2 highly respectable Christian English women, the fact would remain that it's not illegal.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal. 2 things that are not illegal. Anne Lister's thermometer. If y'all remember season 1, episode 7, it's not illegal. Yes, I like to have my thermometer with me on holiday. It's not illegal. I love that. I love that scene. That's one of the funniest scenes. Oh, that's one of the funniest scenes. 2 things that are not illegal. Anne Lister's thermometer and 2 women being together romantically. Bam! Checkmate.
Don't judge a lesbian cause she don't want you bad men. Judge one of the gays, they drag you from Z to A. Fuck out my way when you see me. I'm rolling with the LGBT.
So we are at the hotel's opening, the casino, laying up the stone. Okay, here's accordingly. Everybody's here. Not everybody, but 90% of what happens on this show happened in real life, right? So this obviously happened in real life. The casino was a real thing. So Northgate Casino, the first stone was laid on September 26, 1835 by Miss Anne Walker of Cliff Hill, Yorkshire, at the request of her particular friend, Miss Anne Lister of Shibden Hall, Yorkshire. Hilarious. Gal pals. I really wish that this hotel was still standing, or at least this stone was still, we could actually still read this and see this, but they found the time capsule in 1959 and the construction workers found it. And so like watching this show and knowing that it's actual history, it's just, but Sally kind of stuck true to the diaries, and I love that because it's not a documentary, yes, but it is in a way, because majority of what we're seeing on screen were actual dialogue said by people, actual things, events that happen. So as a history buff, I just love watching Gentleman Jack, knowing that this is history behind it. So Mr. Captain Sutherland didn't sign the deeds for the division. Pissing me off. How is this going to end on a cliffhanger? I don't.
Mr. Gray's here from York.
Grooving. I'm grooving. Yes, Mr. Gray. Let's get Mr. Gray back on, because this is nonsense. You're lying on Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray don't believe your nonsense. Yes, Mr. Gray. Bring in Mr. Gray, please. No, you want to leave?
I might go and wait in another room.
Why? If you got on so nicely with him in York, surely you'd be more than happy to see him.
You...
It isn't true.
Neither Mr. Gray nor Mr. Parker said anything against this division.
Oh, Elizabeth. Yes, 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 yes. Elizabeth finally says something. Elizabeth finally says something. Oh my God, I thought this was gonna go on as a cliffhanger, and it was. Thank you. Is that the same thing she did in season? She helped Anne Walker leave. Was it Scotland? You know, still being afraid of her husband. She did the right thing, and now she's doing the same right thing.
Mr. Samuel Grimmer.
Oh. That Mr. Gray.
It's a different Mr. Gray. Anne Lister knew what she was doing. It's not the actual Mr. Gray. It's a different Mr. Gray. Ooh, Anne Lister knew what she was doing. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yep, 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 yep. It's a different Mr. Gray. She knew what they were going to do with her. Anne Lister is always one step ahead. She's always one step. She's playing chess, and you MFers are playing checkers. She's playing chess. All of y'all are playing checkers. She knew on her turf. Right. Finally, he finally signs the freaking thing. Gosh, that was a lot. You just put your John Hancock right there, sign it, take the pen and sign it. Can we get on with our lives, please? Finally. Okay, finally, all is right in the world. For now.
We should go to York on Monday and sort out our wills.
Is that what you want?
I'm sorry.
For what?
Doubting it.
Don't be. We are the only people in the whole world on Earth who want us to be together. It won't be easy. It'll never be easy. But we're both still here, aren't we?
Yeah, no, to know what I know, the little that I know that happens after this, it wasn't easy waters for the Annes. They went through more strife and struggles. It's the little things for me. You know, Anne Walker taking Anne's hand. It's just the little things for me. And she apologized. I appreciate her apologizing. The only ones in the world that want to see us together. Well, at this time, you're right. But hundreds of years later, millions of people also are riding for you. We're here for you. So that was season 2, episode 8 finale. Because we want Gentleman Jack to have a season 3, season 4, season 5. Sally said that she wants to have up to 5 seasons, up to Anne Lister's death and even after. What happened to Anne Walker. I'm gonna mention Eliza Rain real quick because my recap and reaction to episode 5, 6, and 7 were technical difficulties with those, so I didn't get to post them. Eliza Rain exchanged rings with Anne Lister when they were younger. She was half Indian, and I was like, I'm so fascinated to know schoolgirls together. And they had a intense relationship. They exchanged letters. It's a whole thing. I'm very fascinated to know more about Eliza Rain. How was it for a half Indian woman living during this time? You know, she was head over heels in love with Anne Lister. And there's just so much information about them. I'm not going to say them all here. But Anne Lister exchanged rings with 3 women that I know of. It was Eliza Rain when she was a teenager. And it was Mariana Lawton. That's why Mariana said in episode 4, it's hard to be a friend to one who has been a wife because they exchange rings. So I would call Mariana Anne Lister's second wife, technically. And her third wife, I would say, would be Anne Walker. So Eliza's Rain story is really fascinating to me. And for the many reasons I just listed. If once we get Gentleman Jack season 3, season 4, season 5, and then we can dive into Anne Lister's earlier life. I mean, you think this time in Anne Lister's life was a lot of drama. The earlier life, let me tell you something. The earlier life is a lot of drama there too. It's Happy Pride Month. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna react to next. I mostly react to, as far as TV shows, most of the content you see on my YouTube channel are mostly queer women. I have one video on Mortal Kombat. If there's any movies that have non-queer characters in them, I might react to it if it moves me enough. So like, comment, and subscribe. You'll see the videos I put out. I am unsure what is the next video after this that I will do. Probably First Kill. I'll probably react to First Kill. And unsure yet, but subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll see what my next video will be. So that is it. Happy Pride Month. I don't know what else to say. I'm very excited. I love this show so much. Looking forward to more seasons. And yes, see you on the next video.